We're on to Epilogue 7 of Candy. We're getting there. Chapter 29. Let me full screen real quick. I see him. Ooh, is it the prince? Fucking finally. No. Calliope animates the puppet body she inhabits, the same one that has not aged a day since it crashed here, and rouses it from perfect corpse-like stillness. Dead Jade unfolds from her meditation pose and pushes to her feet in an elegant sweep. It is the one I have been waiting for all these years. We have run along parallel lines for what may as well be eternity, but my gravitational well has finally ensnared him, and now he is due to fall into the void. Into this world. I don't know why I said void. Dead Jade folds her hands behind her as she rises into the air, body language delicate, purposeful. Aradia hitches her arm around Solix's back to lift him up and follows Jade's body out into the open air. She casts her pitch-black eyes down to watch the dark clouds of battle beginning to form over the human capital below. Solix frowns. Are you sure you want to go down there? It seems like it's about to get wild. Yes, more than you can possibly imagine. The Chaos War is about to begin, and our window of opportunity is narrow. We must be there when he falls. Come with me. Chapter 30. As Jake traverses the length of Jane's ship, he suspects he has never carried more dread in his heart than he does in this moment. The burden of the call he just received weighs so heavily upon him that it's a struggle to propel himself each step forward. He wishes that someone else had gotten the news, but there's nothing that can be done. He has to be there for his wife, even if he knows saying what he needs to say will be hard for both of them. The doors to the ship's bridge slide open to permit him entry when he approaches. Jane is standing by the navigational stations, engaged in some sort of confabulation of doubtlessly critical importance with her eternal shadow, Gamzee Makara. Jake's already miserable mood drops further at the sight of him. No matter how long this arrangement carries on, it never seems to get easier to stomach. Jane is dressed to the nines in her signature blazing red power suit, her freshly polished designer pumps glinting in the varied lights of the Crocker Corp ship command controls. The full entourage of the Crocker conglomerate is fast en route to a business conference that Jane insists is of the utmost importance to the impending negotiation of an array of parliamentary contracts with the government, and she would be the first to tell you that looking your best is one of the most critical parts of arbitration. She doesn't immediately acknowledge Jake's presence when he approaches. He has to conspicuously clear his throat before Jane turns her attention away from Gamzee, and even then she only dignifies Jake's appearance with a fleeting glance. Do you need something? Well, I have some terrible news, I'm afraid. What is it, Jake? I'm rather occupied at the moment. I'm awfully sorry to bother you, but it's very important, dear. Is something the matter with Tavros? No. You might want to come with me to our quarters for this one. As I said, I'm a bit busy right now. Well, I just thought maybe it's best if you sit down for this one. My dear, my delectable honey bunches of oats, the jolly old Captain My Crunch, my lovely wife, whom I love so much. Jane's face twists in annoyance. She's quite a bit shorter than Jake now, but the way she looks down on him makes her seem like she towers 10 feet above him. My goodness, Jake. What do you want? Can't you see I'm right in the middle of something? Just spit it out already. The whole bridge goes quiet at Jane's outburst. Everyone has stopped in the midst of their tasks to stare nervously at the altercation. The only other sound that penetrates the silence is Gamzee noisily slurping on the rubber nipple of his baby bottle. Ew. Jake swallows like he's in a cartoon. It's a big, loud gulp, a sound that instantly ratchets up Jane's annoyance, like most of Jake's actions seem to these days. Well, you see, I guess I'll come right out and say it then. I just got news that your father has passed, Jane. I'm so sorry. At first, the words don't quite register. Jane expected this, like all interactions with Jake, to be a meaningless waste of her time. Initially, she gives a dismissive nod, like she's taking in some trivial piece of information. And then the weight of the statement strikes her, sending a jolt of shock through her chest. It passes quickly, though. She'd almost forgotten. An unfortunate incident, but it's no matter. I'll simply revive him and then make sure he's assigned a security detail. Have his body brought here as quickly as possible. I'm afraid that won't be possible, honey. There's no body for you to revive at all. Jane's eyes widen in disbelief. What? What happened? Word from Secret Service is that it was one of Carcat's assassins. The target was the human president. Your father, that is. He jumped in the way and took the shot. The president is safe. Your dad saved his life. I don't understand. What happened to his body? Did Carcat's rebels abduct him? No. The shot he took was from the barrel of a rocket launcher. I'm afraid the assault blew him straight to bits. There's hardly anything left. What? Luckily, the president was barely harmed, as your old man took the full brunt. As far as I know, the only harm to him is having his full lustrous mustache burned clean off his face. It's a frickin' tragedy. Jake's gaze falls to the floor. Jane's hand clutches at the front of her suit in an unsteady fist. Please tell me you're joking. Jake, tell me this is just a prank. I'm afraid not, Jane. I'm so sorry. Jane whips around, tears in her eyes. The whole bridge is holding its breath. She feels every eye on her, the pressure to hold it together. She can't show weakness now. She's come so far. Jane sniffles and swipes at her eye with the back of her hand. She won't cry, but she can be angry instead. Ugh! That fool! I can't believe that he would do this! How could he do this to me? Janie, the human president could be anyone, but my dad can't be anyone but him. Jake isn't sure this is the right or smart thing to do, but he chances it. He steps forward to place a comforting hand on Jane's shoulder. When she doesn't immediately tear herself away, he tentatively and slowly, like he's approaching a wounded animal, pulls her into a hug. Jane is too dazed to protest. She limply stares past Jake, eyes unfocused. I don't... No. Shh. Everything's gonna be okay. God, I can't believe he... Oh, but of course I can't. He's always been so infuriatingly good. God, how stupid. This is so stupid. I'm so stupid. How could I put him in such a dangerous position? Chief of Staff? Anyone could have done that job. Why did I tell him to... My own father, Shh, Janie. You did nothing wrong. Nothing wrong at all. You never have. I love you, Jane. We all do. Isn't that right, Gamzee?
Yeah, man. We all got plenty of love up in this bitch for the big juicy JC.
Gamzee turns to the... Gamzee? Gamzee turns to the bridge crew and gestures magnificently with his arms. Rivulets of milk are running down his chin.
Honk if you love this big titty biznatch. Whoop whoop.
A petrified Paul falls across the bridge as the crew tries to figure out whether they're supposed to take this seriously or not. Comms officer shares a look with the engineer. The conning officer looks like she's about to shit her pants. And then they turn to the most pitiable stooge of them for all for answers. Jake's eyebrows shoot up to his hairline as he nods urgently over Jake's shoulder to indicate that, yes, they should definitely do it. At once, the bridge crew gives a unanimous honk. Jane sniffs and pulls away out of Jake's embrace. She turns back to the bridge and takes a forward step, stumbling slightly in her heels. But she catches her balance, fixes her posture, and slips back on a stony mask. All right. Jake, get the president on the phone. It's clear to me now it's a past time for the military to strike, and I'll be giving that man a real piece of my mind until an appropriate counterattack is in motion. Obviously, the government's attempts to be gracious with the troll ilk have been naive and foolish. These rats cannot be negotiated with. They cannot be swayed by reason or appeals to peace and civility. The only thing they want, the only thing that they have ever wanted since this ungodly inception of their disgusting verminous species, is bloodshed. And if that is what they truly desire, well, far be it from us to deny them. Not another word. Are you sure this isn't a No! The time to act is now. They will pay for what they've done. Every last fucking one of them. I've had enough. This is the end of the line. Jane is blazing with fury. She marches to the center of the bridge. All of you, return to your stations. We are changing course. We will be going directly to meet with the president, and I will not rest until he gives the command to crush this fucking rebellion and destroy any chance that they might resist ever again. The bridge crew doesn't even think to defy Jane's orders. They return to their stations dutiful. The navigator adjusts the ship's destination coordinates, and the comms officer opens a line with the government's seat of command. Only one man in the room is brave enough to take a stand.
Hey, do you think that might be a little bit motherfucking xenophobic?
Jane spins on her heel like a whirlwind, her face twisted into a hideous snarl. She rounds on Gamzee with all the hatred she can muster. Xenophobic? I am not fucking xenophobic.
I'm just saying, my most bodacious of babes. What you're laying down here is sounding wicked bitch genocidal.
What the fuck are you talking about? I am not and have never been a fucking xenophobe.
Yeah, but listen, killing all the trolls, that would be bad, you feel me? I'm a troll, remember? Maybe you should take a minute and chill a bit. I'm mint choco chip, little mint choco chip. Honk.
Shut the fuck up. You fucking insects just assassinated my father.
Yeah, you're cute when you're mad, my tasty little snackatino.
And then Gamzee seals his fate. He reaches out with his finger and boops Jane right on her little nose. Honk. Jake audibly gasps at the sight. But Jane does not have any sort of violent outburst of anger. Instead, she goes completely icily silent. Gamzee smiles vacantly down at Jane, unaware of his misstep. When Jane next speaks, it is in a controlled, steady voice. Security. Escort this troll off of my ship. Now. The security personnel aboard the bridge do not hesitate to follow the command. They descend on Gamzee in a swarm, grabbing him by his arms. The baby bottle tumbles out of his grasp, busting open when it falls. The remaining milk spills out, pulling in the recessed lighting of the floor.
Whoa, hold up. You can't just go throw me off board, my milky mommy.
Oh, but I can. Just watch me. The security officers begin to pull Gamzee away, but he makes one final desperate play.
Wait, just hear me out.
What?
If you throw me out, I'll be all lost and shit, babe. You know I be needing you.
What? You think appealing to me with your disgusting little addiction is gonna sway me? That's the funniest joke you've ever told me, clown.
It's not about the milk, boo. It's about you.
Jane stops. What?
I need you.
Are you saying that you...
I've gotta told you all about my past struggles with the wicked green substances. I've done glad and made so much progress, finding new healthy ways to cope with the voices and remedy myself. And you've been more of a help to me than anybody. More than anything.
I'm sorry.
More than anything. You know with the nightmares I can't sleep without holding on to a motherfucker.
Jane sneers. She has no idea why she thought for even a moment he might have meant anything else. I am so... forget it. You are despicable.
You can't just go and cut a brother off. Let's all up and think this through all reasonably and shit. I'll do motherfucking anything.
Jane's eyes rake up and down Gamzee's body like she's carefully considering her response. Her face is expressionless when she answers. Begone, clown. Jane turns and waves the security away. The uniformed men drag Gamzee from the bridge. The sound of honks reverberate hauntingly through the halls as the wretched jester is removed from his seat of power at last. In spite of everything, Jake can't help but be relieved. With Gamzee finally disposed of, Jane is invigorated with the strength of her own conviction. She spins on her heel and confidently strides to the captain's chair. She engages her interface, sits down, and assumes her seat of command. The time for mercy is long past. Karkat Vantis must die. Chapter 31. John, I need to see. How do I get back? John looks up to see one of Jane's recon ships flying overhead. Aside from the encroaching fleet, the blue sky is seamless and clean. The hole that Vriska came through is already sealed up. I don't think you can go back. I have no idea what the exact scientific mechanism behind falling out of the sky is, but so far it's proven to be a one-way trip. No! Welcome to Earthsea. It fucking sucks. Vriska releases her vice grip on John's arm so she can cradle her head between her hands. Oh my god! This is the worst thing that could have possibly happened to me! Are you sure about that? Yes! I am absolutely... Wait. Why are you so... Vriska gestures wordlessly at John's entire body. Then she leans in closer to study his face, squinting with suspicion. John, are you old? A little, I guess. I mean, I'm gonna live forever, apparently, so in that respect, I'm still pretty young. But compared to the average human lifespan, I'm like about 3/8 of the way dead. Vriska runs both her hands down her face, leaving long, dark streaks of blood. I can't be here. Vriska. Wait, actually, I guess I shouldn't call you that. It might get confusing. What? Well, see, Rose and Kanaya's daughter is also named Vriska. What? And since you didn't come to Earthsea with us, that means technically she was here first, so that would make you... Vriska? That's fucking unacceptable. Sorry, but I think that's probably just how it has to be. John, you accuse me of talking nonsense, but you're the one not making any damn sense. Where am I? Why are you old? Why do Rose and Kanaya have a daughter named after me? Oh, it's because they thought you sacrificed your life heroically defeating Lord English, so they found a baby clone here and named her in your honor. Personally, I thought the whole thing sounded like bullshit. But, you know, whatever makes them happy. John shrugs. Vriska remains frozen in her expression of horror, mouth agape. In the distance, the troll defenses take a shot at the human recon vessel. Vriska doesn't flinch at the sound of a sonic cannon blasting off behind her. She slowly peels her hands from her face and glares at John as one of her eyes twitches at the corner. That's the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard. Yeah, I know. I tried to tell them. Man, it's been a while since we've agreed on something, hasn't it? So, not to be nosy, but did you defeat Lord English? Of course not! Why do you think I'm so desperate to go back? The battle was hitting its climax when I got hit in the head with... Vriska paused at her head wound, fingers numb and vision blurry. Whatever the fuck it was that hit me in the head. She sways on her feet. John tries to steady her, but she slaps his hand away. Do you want to see a doctor for that or something? No! I want to know what the fuck is going on. Okay, sure. So about 15 years ago, Jane started spreading all this xenophobic propaganda about trolls, and eventually she and her corporation became so entrenched in financial dealings with basically every societal institution with power on Earthsea that she became this unstoppable lobbying monolith that can more or less tell the government what to do. So now she may as well be writing all these xenophobic policies into law directly. Oh, Jane's a huge xenophobe, by the way. I probably should have started out with that fact. John, this story fucking sucks. Oh, and then Karkat had this really catastrophic breakup with Jade and Dave, so he ran off to spearhead a troll rebellion against the xenophobic government. To be honest, the rebellion was pretty lame in the beginning, but then, Mina, Yeah, Mina. She fell out of the sky like you did and helped him actually get good at revolutionary stuff. So now both sides are all maxed out with spaceships and weapons and stuff and are on the brink of war. Holy shit. That's even dumber than the Rose and Kanaya naming their shitty kid after me. Oh man, their kid is shitty. You have no idea. How the hell did you all fuck this up so much? Oh, that's my bad. Your bad? Yeah, I made the wrong decision and totally blew it. How? I was supposed to go fight Lord English, but I didn't. So now we've gone beyond, like, the event horizon of canon. What the fuck does that even mean? John sighs and sweeps an arm across the landscape. The sky darkens as the first of the troll fleet roars into the front line. I don't know, really. Rose explained it all to me once, but I pretty much forgot what she said. I didn't actually think it was that important at the time. All I know is that all this is my fault. It's been turning around in my head like this for a while. I thought, why does everything here fucking suck so much? How the hell did we make it from point A to point festering clusterfuck? Doesn't follow any kind of logic I understand or any sort of basic sense I have about who we are as people. And why? Why have we all ended up so unhappy and twisted up? I got everything I wanted. Everyone got what I thought they wanted. And that's just it, isn't it? The more I think about it, I'm the only factor that matters to anything. Whatever I did or didn't do just destroyed reality's ability to, like, substantiate itself or whatever. Like, there's a bug in the operating system or whatever force in this world that regulates cause and effect. Everything's been unraveling. Nothing that happens makes sense anymore. Now I'm the only person who's even real at all. Wow, I've never seen a guy get his bulge all the way down his own swallow chute before. Wait, what? Good fuck. You actually think reality gives that much of a shit about you? Get real, Egbert. It's not like you're me. Okay, well, that's fair, I guess. But whatever it was that caused this, it's pretty obvious that all of this is just kind of dumb and fake. So don't worry about it. I kind of have to worry about it, considering... I kind of have to worry about it, considering... Why is it written like that? I kind of have to worry about it, considering you just explained to me that I'm trapped here. Nah, it's fine. It'll all work out. Or it won't. It doesn't really matter either way. Vriska clenches her hands into her fists, so tight her nails draw blood, and hisses out a long, vicious expletive. Around her, the ground begins to shake as the human fleet of batter pantsers roll out from the edge of the city and take position. So we should probably get out of here soon. Or not, we're both god tier, so as long as we don't do anything cool or evil, I guess we'll be fine and not permanently die. It's almost like the god tier roles were designed to reward us for being useless pieces of shit. I think I get it now. It's a pretty good joke, actually. Nice. Fuck! Oh, hey, that reminds me. Did you ever see Terezi out there? No? Why would I have seen Terezi? Didn't she go back with the Striders to fight 600 versions of Jack or something? Well, yeah, but then later she went back out there to find you. Vriska, she searched for you for years. I mean, years from my perspective, at least. I don't know about hers. But we used to talk sometimes. It was fucked up how sad she was without you. I don't even know what happened to her. The last time I talked to her, she thought she was about to die. For a long time, I like to pretend that maybe you two found each other after that, but if you're here now, and she isn't, that means... who knows what it means. Wow, John, you sound pretty broken up about this. Were you in love with her or something? John laughed sadly. Well, I don't know. What does it even matter? Like everything else, it was just some more stupid crap that happened, which technically wasn't even canon. Oh my fucking god, I can't take this anymore! Vriska screams in frustration and throws her arms in the air. Her piercing voice can be heard over the roar of 100 war freighter engines. The bulk of Karkat and Mina's fleet has just arrived. Their ships are less sleek and imposing than Jane's, most of them having been scavenged, patchworked, and jury-rigged, but they're numerous enough to blot out the sun when they coast overhead. I don't care about whatever the fuck canon is supposed to be. I don't care about your dumb, unrequited crush on Terezi. I don't care about this stupid, pointless war. Someone get me the hell out of this fucking nightmare before I really lose my shit.
Whoa, hey, let's all calm the motherfucker down.
John and Vriska both turn to see a gangly figure emerging from the dust kicked up by Jane's tank platoon. Gamzee's hair is caked with dirt, his makeup is smudged, and he's sucking on his milk bottle in the style of some smooth hombre in a spaghetti western mouthing a cigar. He tugs the rubber nipple out of his mouth with a pop. The chalky, viscous milk forms a goatee of spittle on his chin.
Vriska, my man bitch. Long time no see. You seem all discombobulated there, sister. Just fucking beset with the poorly regulated emotions that cause a motherfucking nothing but pain. Now, why don't let's calm the fuck down and take rips off this dope bottle of fresh-ass titty dairy and then shoot the wicked shit about the good word.
The good word?
It'd be called redemption, motherfucker. You gotta get that shit locked all tight in where your heart's at to get your moral compensations to chill the fuck up. 'Cause I can't think of a single motherfucker who could use a righteous dose of that sweet, sweet redemption right down the sham hatch more than Vriska motherfucking Circuit.
Vriska casts a wide glare at the intruding clown with steely, merciless eyes. Slowly, she stalks toward him, her feet pressing so heavily in the soft earth she might as well weigh 1,000 pounds. Gamzee suckles at his bottle and beams at her with the complacency of a man perfectly oblivious to the one-way ticket to the world of shit his big mouth just bought for him. What the fuck did you just say to me? Chapter 32, with this being like in the big letter. It's really funny to me for some reason. Vriska grabs Gamzee by the front of his shirt and yanks him down, her hot, furious breath brushing his disgusting face.
I said to you gotta chill, yo. It's that time you got your redemption on. See, you got to make some motherfucking amends to your tragic backstory.
My what?
Honk.
Vriska looks into his eyes. She beholds his serene expression and the casual sag of his shoulders. His posture is so contemptibly flaccid, it's as if he's literally wilting. Her gaze travels to where his weird, long fingers are wrapped around the curve of her shoulders. His hand is sticky for some reason. She notices a few strands of her black hair clinging to whatever heinous substance is coating his hand. It's an image so viscerally objectionable to her that she nearly vomits. After all she's been through today, this is the last goddamn straw. Her eyes fill with fury, just with indignation, with vivid, radiating malevolence, and then it finally happens. She just plain fucking snaps. Don't you dare! Vriska clenches her fists together and slams them into Gamzee's nose, a brutal double axe handle right off the hook. His nose makes a crunching sound like someone just stepped on a pile of crackers. He stumbles backward, cupping his palms over his face to catch a gush of blood. Fucking touch me! Vriska grabs him under the armpit and delivers a European-style uppercut with her bloody elbow. He expels a wheezy gutter honk, comes out slowly, mournfully, like a broken bike horn getting backed over by the rear wheel of a hearse. Ever! She spins out from under his flailing arm and does a full 360-degree pirouette off the fucking handle to deliver a ruthless knife chop straight to the cartilage of the center of his chest, like a veteran butcher getting down to business. Again! Gamzee tries to get his bearing, but Vriska's spinning back in the other direction with a discus back elbow. Her elbow connects with his cheekbone hard enough that it shatters. A sharp tooth goes flying out of his puckered lips so fast that John has to take flight to avoid it. Vriska takes a crow's hop back, grounding herself to swing a lead-legged kick right into his chin. Gamzee goes flying into a nearby tree. The first branch splinters under the impact of his spine. He gets clotheslined backward by the second one, spins around it, and face plants on a hard root under the tree. John winces, but not sympathetically. The impact was just that rough. That had to crack a rib or two. Vriska stalks over to Gamzee and triumphantly lifts him off the ground, high above her head, only to drop him and slam her knee into his face again. His lips split, staining her jeans bright purple. He's rolling from side to side on the ground, groaning as blood bubbles up from his mouth. It sounds like he's drowning. Vriska drags him to his feet again, her hands fisted in his shirt. With an impressive maneuver, hard for the guy to follow unless you're a trained wrestler, she adroitly twists a hand in his hair and reverse hangmans him against the tree branch. Honk! Why won't you just... She slams his throat against the branch again and again. Each time he lets out a sound like a damaged squeeze toy, his bloated, slimy tongue unspooling like a frog's as all the air is crushed out of his esophagus. Die! Shouting like a berserker, Vriska perpetrates a textbook groinal claw hold around Gamzee's codpiece and rips it right the fuck off. He yowls as if he had actual testicles to be mauled, and for all anyone knows, maybe he really does. He paws the air desperately and fecklessly after his treasured purple dick sock, but Vriska tosses it over her shoulder and shoves him into the mud with her heel. She grabs Gamzee by the hood, pulls him up, and then grinds the top of her shoe along the ridge of his broken nose, rubbing her laces into his eyes. Ah, yes, John pauses his wince to admire the good old bootlace eye rake. Jake loved that one back in the day, even though he had much more practice with the receiving end of it. Gamzee grabs Vriska's foot by the bridge. Instead of yanking her off balance, he opens his huge bloody maw of a mouth and runs his tongue along the rubber bottom of her shoe. Vriska freezes. She watches him lap the mud and his own blood out from between the grooves of the sole. His lips drag lewdly over the ridge of her footwear and begin sucking at where her big toe would be if it were not safely ensconced in several layers of rubber and canvas. He draws back a string of gluttonous, tinted saliva connecting the shoe to his lip and catches Vriska's eye with his own half-lidded gaze. His face is bruised, bloody, swollen. His makeup is a nightmarish disaster. The expression he's giving her is unmistakable. It's not fear. It's not rage. Not even pain. It's lust. Vriska goes perfectly still, absolutely paralyzed by the sudden recognition. For several seconds, she doesn't dare move a muscle. And then, quite suddenly, Vriska reaches a plateau of rage so intense, so pure, that she isn't even seeing straight anymore. She howls like a storm cresting over the ocean, drowning out the sound of the human government's tanks firing the first volley over the battlefield. She lunges at Gamzee's catastrophic face lips first, and practically dives into his mouth. Oh, Jesus Christ, ramming her tongue into his lewd caping maw like she's questing for prizes at a carnival. Stop! They roll over each other, groping, tearing, tongue-lashing, and vanish into the underbrush. Stop! Gamzee's unwashed stench is so bad the motion of him being knocked into the dirt wafts in John's direction. The stink hits him like an olfactory haymaker, and he does a full 180 to dry heave into the impact crater. Mercifully, John's attention is caught by someone calling his name from above. He has never felt so grateful for an excuse to look away from anything in his life. John, up here. I need to speak with you. Well, I hated that. Just remove the page. Just remove this whole page. Just get rid of this whole page, and I would be fine with that. I would be fine with literally, you could just delete this entire HTML file from this fucking website, and I wouldn't even notice, and I don't think anybody would mind. Anyway, chapter 33. John looks up to see Rose waving at him while hanging out the hatch of a troll cruiser. John tries to smile at her, but all he can muster is a weird, queasy expression. Rose looks glad to see him anyway. She drops to the ground when the modest cruiser comes in for a landing, followed out regrettably by her daughter Vriska. Shit. John flies up to greet them more quickly than he would ordinarily in a situation where he wasn't trying to divert his friends and her teenage daughter's attention away from a couple making out in a bush. He dips forward like he's going in to hug Vriska, to her apparent surprise due to his historical complete lack of desire for any physical contact to be made between them, but instead uses his momentum to spin her all the way around so that her back is facing the cursed shrubbery in the distance. Whoa, hey old man. Hey Vriska, hey Rose, nice to see you both. John and Rose appear equally surprised with themselves when Vriska hauls him in to seal the deal with a crushing hug of her own. Jeez. Hi, Vriska. Hi, John. This is great. Just great. Hey, why don't we all go over here to talk for, no reason at all? Okay, if that's what you want. Oh, yeah, it's the thing I want most. The view on the other side of the ship is just amazing. Trust me. Rose cocks an eyebrow at him. Behind her, the bush releases a strangled, lusty honk. What was that? Never mind. Vriska, why don't you go over and help your mother with the deployments? Ugh! I can't believe I actually have to listen to you now that we're at war. Run along now, dear. Thankfully, Vriska heeds her mother's commands and heads back to the cruiser. Rose tries to glance back toward the source of the suspicious honk, but John pulls her behind the ship, beyond audible range of the activity taking place in the offensive bush. On this side of the cruiser, troops are departing the hold in single-file efficiency. They're all decked out in full Alternian military garb. It's the cool Tron-looking stuff with the luminescent cording that matches their blood colors. Rose is wearing it too, John notices, in black and lavender. He gives her a concerned look up and down, then holds out his hands, palms up. So, I guess this war is really happening? Yes. I understand that you don't want to be involved, and I respect your decision. However, I wanted to speak with you before we left. Oh, thanks. I actually appreciate that a lot. I think I would have been pretty bummed if you went off to your potential doom without saying goodbye. Now that I think about it, that's how this all started, isn't it? You were so sick that it looked like you were dying, and I was about to leave on a perilous mission. But now here we are. It's almost like the circle of stupidity is complete. Rose laughs. Don't be ridiculous, John. Nothing is complete. There is no true ending or beginning in this scenario. Yeah, right. Because this is real life, right? Guess reading narrative relevance into a bunch of dumb and totally random events is kind of lame and childish. No, that isn't what I meant at all. By all means, apply a narrative to our lives. Up until a certain point, it would have been perfectly accurate to do so. But not anymore. Because it's not canon, right? Do you remember what I told you years ago about the 3 pillars of canon? John strokes his chin and thinks very hard on this. Maybe too long because Rose sighs and taps on the bridge of his spectacles. No is a perfectly valid way to answer that question, John. I just didn't want to make it look like I don't pay attention to your wordy philosophical babble. I philosophically babble rather a lot, or at least I used to. It'd be unfair of me to expect you to retain nearly 3 decades of oblique technical jargon regarding the metaphysics of the reality in which we inhabit. Wow, we've known each other a long time. Yes, we have. Well, it would be more accurate to say that we both have and haven't known each other a long time. As I explained to you on that morning 16 years ago, there are 3 critical features of canon: essentiality, relevance, and truth. Yeah. We have been untethered from the mooring of truth for some time now. So while we, in our subjective experiences of conscious perception, feel in this moment that we have known each other for a very long time, technically it's not true at all. Contemplating the vastness of that statement makes John feel suddenly very small and sad. He shuts his eyes and runs a hand through his hair. Oh my god, Rose, it's too early in the day for this. I agree. Besides, that's not what I wish to speak to you about. John, look at me. Rose wraps her narrow hands around John's arms and pulls him gently toward her. He cracks his eyes open to see her face glimmering in the late morning sun. Her eyes are glossy and bright in the gleaming light. I want to thank you. For what? Didn't I fuck everything up by not going to fight Lord English? It's my fault we're all living in this meaningless hell world where everyone's vaguely out of their minds and we're all about to go to war over freeing prisoners from the whipping cream camps. Whatever. The war is just as irrelevant as everything else that's happened here in the last decade and a half. At least with the conflict, we have something to do, something to strive for and against, something to believe in. I'm thankful for that. But more than anything, John, I'm thankful that I got a chance to be happy. I never... Rose pauses meaningfully as if the realization is falling into place as she says it. I never thought I would actually get to be happy. Rose, you weren't happy before? When you married Kanaya, before you got sick? When we were all together? Rose shakes her head. She brushes past John out towards the open field away from the brewing battle. The land is so flat that it rushes out to meet the horizon uninterrupted for miles and miles. Rose is a pale flame against the brilliant haze of a perfect Earthsea morning. John doesn't follow after her. He lets her compose herself privately with her back to him. She clasps her hands in front of her and raises her head to look at the perfectly blue sky with its perfect sun and its perfect clouds, unmarred by the dark storm brewing over the planet below. In complacency of the... She corrects herself. In the silly wizard story I wrote when I was a child, the realm most comparable to heaven existed in a state of subliminal conditionality, dependent on the insistence of the individual experiencing it, which is to say that it would cease to exist the moment you realized what it was. And so, those with knowledge could never truly be happy. John looks at his hands, the same hands that held Harry Anderson when he was a baby, the same hands that tore up Terezi's photograph just a few hours ago, the same hands that remember steadying Rose on her sick bed 16 years ago, and the shaking feeling they'd awoken with that morning, a subharmonic symphony that can only be heard in the bones. All things that remain true to him. Knowledge of what came before his choice and then after. There are things he can't forget, that he won't forget. Is this the reason he's felt like this for so many years? But that isn't me anymore. I'm blind against the veil of this world. It's all ambrosia to me. I don't care if it's not true. I don't care even less. I care even less if it's not canon. I have a beautiful wife who I love more than I thought possible and a daughter who I am immeasurably proud of. It can all be senseless, ephemeral noise that dissolves in the void, a whisper swept up by the wind before it's uttered. I'm still grateful to have felt this way. So, John... Rose turns around smiling. The smile is calm and honest. Her eyes are perfectly clear. There's no other word that could possibly do justice to her expression. She looks happy. Thank you. She comes forward to give him a kiss on the cheek. John wraps his arms around her shoulders, pulls her into a tight hug, and breathes in the scent of her hair. Whatever the truth of the matter is, she still feels tangible and real to him. What does it mean to be real anyway? Around them, the first wave of bombs starts to go off. Bright pinpricks of light and dark that flash and flame out, leaving a nanosecond of the absolute dead silence in their wake. John's laughing when they part. They're enveloped in a cloud of smoke and dirt so thick that they can barely see each other. Despite what Rose said about there being no ends or beginnings for them anymore, it feels very final. And in that moment, he thinks he understands. Finality was always up to him. He finally decides to allow it. Chapter 34. Hey, Harry Anderson, guess where I am? What? Who is this? I can't hear you. Vriska cups her hands around the receiver of the phone and shouts over the artillery barrage. It's me, idiot, the hot babe you're lucky enough to have gotten a second base with. Oh, hi Vriska. What's up? I implored you to guess where I am. Oh, Based on the horrible racket in the background, I'm gonna guess the battle outside the city. Haha, I told you my moms were gonna hook me the fuck up with a sweet military commission. I'm officially in the rebellion, sucker. I'm watching the battle out of my window right now. Are you sure it's safe for you to be out there, Vriska? I kinda hate it if you die before we got to third base. Yeah, whatever. I'm basically immortal, bitch. I'm gonna breathe through here like a high money roller getting sweepstakes at the blackjack table. You should probably actually gamble once in your life before you try to make gambling metaphors, babe. Because that was dire. Excuse you, but Tavros totally snuck me into Uncle Jake's poker game last month. It was immoderately lit. Wait, are you still hate dating Tavros? Yeah, why wouldn't I be? Oh man, he's so pathetic. Yeah, that's the point, Harry Anderson. How do you stand kissing him? He's so weird and always mysteriously sticky for some reason. Please tell me you haven't gotten to third base with him. A girl does not kiss and tell, Harry, dearest. Okay, well, as long as you don't touch me after feeling up his weird, clammy body, I'm not gonna get a chance to feel either of you up for a while, considering I'm now an important baller in Karkat and Mina's badass revolutionary army. Oh, I asked if they could squeeze you in. They said they were just out of openings. Sorry, dude. Lol. Did you just call me to brag? What else is going on out there? Ugh, who knows? Oh, your dad is here. What? I thought he didn't want anything to do with the war. Yeah, well, he says that, but he's right here, right now, and my mom's saying a bunch of gay shit to him. They're hugging and reminiscing about how old and sad they are or whatever. Huh. What? I really thought my father might come to see me for my birthday this year. Well, them's the breaks, kid. Man, you could be such a shitty girlfriend sometimes. Maybe I'm inspired to be less than ideal mate spirit when I'm in the presence of weakness. Ever consider that? Unbelievable. Hey, I'm just fucking with you. Don't be such a baby about it. It's a total turnoff. I'm sure your dad cares about you very much. Maybe chill out? Yeah, whatever. He's always getting all weepy whenever I talk to him anyway. I don't think I could have taken another round of him choking back tears while apologizing to me about what happened with me and your mother, Harry. I mean, God, he's not even fucking drunk when he does this. That might actually be the most embarrassing part. Yeah. Now that you mention it, I think he's actually crying right now. I think I can overhear... Wait. Vriska stops trying to eavesdrop on John's blubbering for a moment. She's distracted by another noise. She whips her head around to detect an all-too-familiar sound echoing above the post-bombing silence. It's a sound that she knows from hard-won experience can only mean one thing. There's a clown nearby. I think I hear... Gamzee? Gamzee? My Auntie Jane's Gamzee? Yes, who else could I mean? He's around here somewhere. So what? I see him every day. He sucks. So what? He's like Jane's left-hand man. No, he's neutral, remember? That's not how Commander Vantis feels. He always says he's a total bastard, traitor to his kind. Yawn. The dust is beginning to settle around Vriska's ankles. She scans the tree line and brings all her attention to bear on this curious rhythm of noises coming from nearby, beckoning from the underbrush. She pushes toward it through the thorny shrubbery. There's a bounty out for his arrest. Damn, they'll probably put him in front of a tribunal if we can get our hands on him. Oh, I changed my mind. This sounds pretty good, actually. Invite me to the execution, please? If I could capture the high fucking priest Makara, they'd promote me to, like, third in command of the whole joint. Fuck yeah. Well, good luck with that. Call me if you want to hook up after the battle. Naturally. John's wiping away a tear with his sleeve when he catches the sight of Vriska, innocently wandering toward the very bush where he just abandoned Vriska to sort out her confusing exhibition of unexpected and deeply profane lust. Now that the battle has stilled, he can overhear the vile melody of the blasphemous union. There's that noise again. I knew I wasn't imagining it. Oh no. No. Vriska, wait, don't. John runs to intervene, but it's too late. Vriska pushes aside the last of the frond, separating her from her quarry with a triumphant ha. Vriska's huge, mischievous smile freezes on her face. When her eyes pass the image to her brain, and it finally makes sense of this incomprehensible jumble of gray limbs, blue and purple slop, tangled black hair, and stunned faces, her expression begins to slowly melt. It then drifts quickly from phase to phase, to one of wonder, then anguish, and finally, abject horror. Oh, God. Vriska and Vriska both start shrieking at a pitch John's only ever heard one time before. It was a sound that once accompanied the end of everything. A sound once heard the night he dreamt an anime.